Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of PKM Weekly. So let's see what's been in store for us from the past week. Obsidian, they've released version 1.12.2 in Catalyst, so that is only available for insiders for the time being. And it includes lots of improvements and updates to the recently released CLI, and bases and other parts of the apps have also had updates. So if we just check through the changelog, that includes new commands for the CLI and various different updates that they've implemented. Bases, we now have the ability to import files into bases via drag and drop, and there's other things that have improved in the app just to make it better. So lots of great stuff within Obsidian, and just as a reminder, if you want to use the CLI within Obsidian, you need to have the latest version and I think still be on the Catalyst license. At the bottom, it should have a command line interface as an option. I think it's unticked when you first see it. You just need to register the Obsidian command in path. Mine's already been done, so that's that. And then what you need to do is just open a terminal, navigate to your vault, which is just one I created, and then do Obsidian, and that's the CLI there. And you can then scroll down, see whichever commands that you want. And if we just do a list of the files within this folder, and there we have it there. So you can do lots of other things with it as well. I just find Cloud Code linked to my Obsidian Vault much easier to use, but you can also use the CLI for different purposes. Other things that have been released in Obsidian is the web clipper. That is now at version 1.0, and it includes logic. So you can have a new template logic for conditionals, loops, and variable assignments. So all that simply means is that when you go to clip a web page, you can now have a template that it does if this, do that, if that, do something else. So for example, if the status is published, call it as a live article. If it's a draft, put draft article, and if it's unknown, put that for everything else. So you can use various different logic, operators, variables, fallbacks, etc. So a great update from Capano and team on that one. Dave, he did a video of my OpenClaw is forgetting everything, and here's how he fixed it. So he was basically finding that OpenClaw built-in memory wasn't living up to its promise, and it was being quite forgetful. So in this tutorial, he shows us how he integrates Obsidian with OpenClaw to create a real working memory system that actually persists across conversations. And the great thing is that OpenClaw does just simply write markdown files. So if you somehow manage to link it to your Obsidian Vault, you can see what's happening. And through this video, that is what Dave kind of talks us through. So creating your first vault, designing the file system, you can see syncing across devices, security considerations, setting up the vault path, indexing, and testing and troubleshooting. So thank you very much for that, Dave. And talking of AI, Conrad, he posted how he uses Claude with Obsidian. And he says that no other file or note management systems come close to this. So if you're interested, definitely check this out, his Twitter thread, to get some ideas of what he's using. A few interesting Reddit posts this week. Obsidian at a Microsoft 365 company. OP works at a Microsoft Office 365 focused company, PPT, Word, Excel, Outlook, OneNote, etc. And wants to try and see if they can integrate Obsidian within it as well. So if you're in the same boat, definitely worthwhile checking out and seeing what other people are saying and how they're using it. Other one was OPM crazy about Obsidian. We've been using it for the past 2 years and it basically changed my life. So this was a student that was doing a PhD, and the only thing he says is that I am missing the ability to take notes by hand in the tablet. But anyway, whoever created it and maintaining it, thank you very much. So a very nice post of appreciation to the Obsidian team. And the other one was, do you find task tracking and management in Obsidian enjoyable? So OP has been using Obsidian for a while, and now he's just asking, do you personally believe Obsidian should be just for notes, or do you also use it for task tracking, etc.? And it's well worthwhile checking out because there's users that use TickTick, Task Notes, and Todoist as well, giving their thoughts and opinions. So definitely check that out if you're in a similar position. Thymer, there's been an update to the beta release timeline. So for the time being, it's in closed alpha or invite-only alpha. And they were hoping, the devs were hoping to release the beta around 20th of February, so a few days ago or this week. But that unfortunately is not going to happen, as JD clarified that they still need to do a number of things before they feel that it's ready. And what he said was there's 9 chunkier things that we want to get done before the beta is released, and a host of smaller fixes, so March somewhere feels right for the beta to be released. So if you haven't yet got access, maybe just wait another month or so, as I'm sure that then it will be released and opened up to everyone. And if you are an existing alpha user, you won't need to do anything. Once the beta is released, there's no need to re-sign up or anything, just carry on as normal. And for those that have got access to the alpha, there's been a few changes and a few updates that the team has implemented. Page properties and comics section visibility is now remembered. Zoom in on the images, theme picker polish, MCP server and CLI companion, which is great. Additional icons, bug fixes, and plugin APIs. They've added some more commands that are possible. And if you want to see your notes in a funky Star Wars style, Wim did a quick plugin, so you can see your notes in a slightly different take, just by using the different plugins that are possible within Thymer. So some great stuff on that one. Capacities, they've released version 1.58.53 last week or so, and it introduces performance improvements across the board, and this is following feedback from the community. So it's great to see that they are implementing things that are being requested by the community. And it's basically, they've done a rework to the processing of search, linking, queries, and in-app communication. And it basically should mean that the whole experience in Capacities is now a lot smoother. And what you've got is better mentions, better date detection, and it's now possible to keep submenus open if you move the mouse away. And there's been a few bug fixes as well, performance degraded, iPhone, and linking. So that's now been fixed. So some great stuff from Capacities. Tana, they've released the week 2 MCP competition winner, and that is Alex. So well done, Alex. And he's a long-time community member, and he's developed a GitHub-style visualization tracker, and it's called Tana Tracker Viz, GitHub-style contribution graph from any Tana node. So what you can do is track nodes, person nodes, project nodes, and if we just go to Slack, we can see how it looks. If I remember where it is. Away. So if we go to Slack, we can see how it looks here through this image, and you can see this is what you then get an activity dashboard. So some great stuff from Alex there. The team has also been looking at Systems Lab in the past week. So last week they showed us how MCP can be used to help design your Tana schema or ontology, and in the session that's coming up this week, they're looking at tackling the main challenging that comes next, which is teaching our agents to work with specific Tana setup reliably and repeatedly. So they're going to look at building AI agents and the skills files that we can use, and basically then iterating over the process to get it tighter over time. And that is going to be Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to know the time in your time zone, just click the link and then you can find the date here, although here it says the 26th, not the 25th. So well worthwhile checking out the time for your date, for the time and date in your time zone. Ev, she talks us through how weekly planning used to be a burden and now she actually enjoys it. She basically didn't used to do it in the past, but now as it's become a conversation, she's actually enjoying it and does it every week. And that is just through using AI and her Tana workspace. So why weekly planning is hard, the context your AI needs, brain dumping, the weekly planning workflow, check-in status reviews, and locking it all into Tana, although you can use it for other apps as well. So well worthwhile checking that out if you are a fan of the weekly planning. And great video, Ev, thank you. Logseq, they've now got a enhancement that they're implementing, which is export EDN will support assets. So there's not much of a description within the PR, but from the name, I'm guessing that it's simply just going to be that when you export as EDN, it will come with your assets so that then you can actually reuse or re-import the EDN a lot easier and making it a lot more functional. And next up was OP. They have a pull request going on implementing tabs natively within Logseq. So they say you can do it through a plugin, but what they're trying to do is basically do it through the app natively. So you can see here, he's got some various different tabs going, and then he closes them. You can drag and redrop, move them, and do whatever it is that you do with tabs. So Logseq is too good of an app to not support tabs on its own and rely on plugins, which tries to understand what's happening in the DOM. So he's basically trying to get the app to do it automatically. So well done, OP. Hopefully that gets implemented by the team shortly. Octarine, they've released version 0.36, so Rajat has now implemented views, and these can be grouped using a variety of default and custom properties. And the easiest way is just to check it out here. So you can see here, it's got a database, group by, and he's going to group it by something, the folder, so you can see it's now separated it out, counts the number of items, and then you can collapse and expand at your own free will just to sort it out and tidy it based on what you want to see. So some great stuff being implemented in Octarine, along with other stuff as well. Sidebar design, that's changed, just been improved. So now it always shows a calendar if you want. Position of quick actions has been tweaked, and various different other improvements as well within the app. So some great stuff from Octarine there, so definitely worthwhile checking that one out if you haven't already done so. Heptabase has been a bit quiet of late, but the devs have just released an update, and that includes you can now delete chats from the chat list menu, improved the AI error messages just to make them clearer, and you can migrate the data schema to support future features. So please update your Heptabase desktop and mobile apps to the latest version. So looking forward to seeing what that will mean in the future and what features are being planned by the Heptabase team. Anytype, they've got quite a number of updates in version 0.54 that was just released this week, and that includes tabs, filters, search through chats, toggled headings, dynamic filter views, channel ownership transfer, and other updates and refinements. So if you just check out the blog post that was done by the team, you can see the tabs in action here, very similar to what the OP was trying to implement within Obsidian. So you can then get a little bit of a preview, click on it, pin it, close out the tabs, move them, reorder them, etc. Some great stuff there. Filters and sorts, so now you can filter and sort through more than one item. So you can see it's sorted by filter or by priority, and then various different filters have been added. There's also advanced filters, chat message search, channel transfer, channel ownership, and some various different other quality of life improvements. So some great stuff from the Anytype team with this recent update. Recall, they've now got Quiz 2.0 that's available, and that includes shared quizzes. So they found that given the strong engagement of quizzes for 1.0, I'm guessing, they decided to invest further into the quiz and now have shared quizzes. So you can check out the video from the team here of how it works, and you can also just check out live if you want, going to one of these quizzes that they've set up. You don't need to be registered or anything, and you can immediately take the quiz. So great stuff and great community improvements from the RecallAI team. And last up is Joplin. One of the OP asks Joplin as a main notes-taking app. Set up Joplin on a local NAS running Joplin server, syncing across devices, using Apple Notes. Basically, can I use it for just any type of notes? So well worthwhile having a look at this Reddit post here. Lots of comments and conversation going. And then also, Joplin has announced that they will come preloaded on the HMD Terra M. So a collaboration with HMD Secure will preload Joplin, and that basically means it's professional devices for instant, reliable communication and security and long-term use. So interesting to see that one. I've never actually come across an HMD Terra M device, but looking forward to reading up more on it and seeing what it is. So that was it for this week. So thank you very much for being here, and I shall see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.